Hey everybody, Jim Malone here from Dallas Trading Floor. It is Thursday, and the Dow kind of pulled back today. It's tough times in the mouse factory, I'm afraid. The Dow is, yeah, it's down, and it looks as if part of the reason the Dow is down is because Disney is just not doing as well as not doing as well as it needs to do. So, without further ado, let's get into the slides. Basically, the market is in a confirmed uptrend. Still, we're still in a confirmed uptrend. So that is definitely that's definitely an issue here. So we want to start. Even though it's tough, there was a pullback yesterday. We kind of still want to be pretty fully invested in the market, and I'm having trouble doing that. But I did make some buys today, and just kind of wanted to put it out there. Basically, here's the situation: the Dow Jones was off 139, basically on the as a result of the disappointing news from Disney. Definitely pulled the Dow down a little bit. So the Nasdaq was up though, and so was the S&P. So we kind of have this bifurcated market where we've got strength when it comes to the Nasdaq stocks where I like to trade, and the S&P stocks, but not on the Dow. And it's kind of a bifurcated market. Just wanted to show you the chart on Walt Disney. It's up a little bit after hours. There was sort of a dead cat bounce. What happened is that on the earnings it just took a dive below the 160 level. Then it moved back up to the close, and it's 160. But this is definitely a changing character for for Disney. So not kind of the situation that you really want to see. I mean, it's just they had bad numbers. So this might be a little bit of a setback for the travel and leisure group, which has definitely been, which is a little bit under pressure right now, which is a little bit under pressure. So it's difficult to kind of see where that's going. So, anyways, without further ado, let's take a look at the stocks that I'm buying right now. And here's a stock that I bought today. It is called Rambus, and this is an interesting stock. It's in the semiconductor stock. It's been around for a very, very long time. This company probably is at least 30, 40 years old, but it did really, really well prior to 2000, and it may be coming back because it's just come through this very nice this very nice buy point. It's up, and I did set a pretty tight stop on it, 23.10 on this one, on the stop loss on this one. But this is one of the ones this is really the only thing I bought today was Rambus, and it looks pretty good. It's in a very strong group. This is the number 2 group out of the 197 divisions of the stock market. So that's the one it's bought. That's really what I'm buying today. Just kind of want to show you the portfolio that I have currently. This is the small portfolio, and by the way, we have access to this particular portfolio, and it shows kind of how I'm trading and kind of what's in that portfolio. This is not all the things that I hold, but these are ones that I'm starting to take positions in. Currently, the way that shapes up is that I did trim my Ford position here. I did trim my Ford position. I do have one full position of Ford. And I do have that, and then I do have a full position of Salesforce CRM. I have a little bit of Shoe Carnival, a little bit more than a full position because this one's appreciated a little bit. Again, I bought Rambus today, and then I have ASML, which is, of course, this is the chip equipment manufacturing company. But I still have quite a bit of cash. I have almost 30% of my portfolio in cash. Looking for good entry points on good stocks. That's always the issue for me. It definitely is. So. That's kind of how it comes out. Here's the current holdings. Obviously a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday's big sell-off And I was stopped out of a number of items, but this is what I currently have throughout all my portfolios. CRM, that's up today nicely. Robert Half, and of course, this is a bounce off of yesterday because everything else is down to yesterday. Robert Half, I've had this for a while, very nice stock. QQQ Trust, it's up. IIPR, this is the marijuana real estate REIT, kind of interesting one. Ford's up today. Tesla's off a little bit, but I was able to get. I was stopped out. I was stopped out at 1080, basically, and then I came back in at about 1040. So I'm up a little bit on this, even though it doesn't show it on this chart. So I'm up a little bit on that one. I did reduce my position in Tesla. I have 2 full positions in Tesla. Well, actually, I have 3. I have 3 positions in one smaller account, and then I have 2 full positions in one of my larger accounts. But I don't have that in the small portfolio. This one, Shoe Carnival, definitely like this one. It's up. A lot of retail's doing well. That's trying to buy stuff in the retail area because that is looking better than a lot of other areas. ASML, of course, is up today very strongly, about 1.90%. Volume is down though, but still it's up very, very nicely. This one here, I have FCX Freeport McMoran. I did sell this one this morning, so this shouldn't be on the list. I did sell this one, and we did okay. I wish I could have held on to this one, but I did sell it. Then I have this one, the Bitcoin Trust. It's down a little bit today. This is the Bitcoin Strategy, BITO, BITO. Another nice one. And then Rambus. This is the one that I bought today. This, of course, is in the Fabulous Semiconductor Group, which has been doing very, very, very well. So that's kind of my take on everything in in those areas. Now, if you're watching on TikTok, I'm simulcasting all of this stuff with the charts on YouTube. Also, if you're just watching out there and you just want to go directly to the page, just go to bit.ly, DTF 420. You'll go right to the page. Also, if you're looking on TikTok right now, I do have a action trailer. It's super easy to get on. All you have to do is just go to my profile, click on the link that says Beacons, and you'll see all the information there. So I just kind of wanted to put that out to everyone. So without further ado, let's get into some of the questions. Thank you for holding. And I think Mark, hey Mark, how are you doing? Okay, very interesting. MOV and Erythium. This is an interesting one. This is the Grayscale Erythium Trust, which is very interesting. Which is very interesting for me. So let me just pull up those charts here really quickly, and let's get those in there. I'm pulling up my charts as we speak. Here we go. Okay, almost up, and let's look at Erythium first. ETHE. This is the Grayscale Erythium Trust. It's a great way to play Erythium. We don't want to show you that one. We want to show you the other one. Okay. Let me see. Get the right thing, Jim. All right, let's do it. So basically, this is the Grayscale Erythium Trust, and as you can see, it's just zooming to the moon. Its volume is down a little bit today, but it's up $2.19. I really like this. Unfortunately, right now, with this Grayscale Erythium Trust, ETHE, it's definitely a little bit extended. So that is sort of an issue with it, but very much like this one. I have not taken a position in this one. I'm waiting for a pullback to the 10-day line, but this is definitely on my alert. So what I'm thinking about doing here, and I definitely want to get into this one, it's extended. This is the proper buy point for the Erythium Trust is 38.69 right here, and of course it's beyond that. So buying an extended like this can be kind of dangerous. So there is an alternative buy point, and that is when this pulls back down to the 10-day line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to see how far above that 10-day line we're currently at. You see, we're over 4% above the 10-day line. So what I want to do what I'm waiting for here is for a pullback to the 10-day line. So what I want to do is I want to put an alert on that one for for a potential pullback, and I really kind of want to put that alert right about 45.10. That's kind of where I do think there is a potential good entry point. And I'm going to put on here potential entry for ETHE. So I definitely think this one is this is a great way to get exposure to Ethereum, which I do think is going to do very, very well this next year. And this is a great way to do it. You can do it in your IRA. The advantage of this is that with Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that, you can't put them in your IRA, and that is a problem. But with this, you can get exposure. 4% Grayscale Ethereum Trust represents about 4% of the Ethereum out there. So very interesting way to get exposure. I'm looking possibly at an entry at about 45.10 right here. That's sort of where I want to look to start, possibly moving into that. It's extended right now. It's not necessarily the greatest place to buy it. As you can see, that's the buy point on the consolidation base, 38.69. So it's really above that. I'm looking at the weekly chart here. The higher high is right about here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to also put a alert line on there. Basically, this is the level. It's above that now. So if it pulls back again, then I think we can possibly move into it as well. So that's a very, very good call there, Matt, with that, because I do think that the Ethereum Trust may be a great way to get exposure to Grayscale. I know that it's on my watch list to get into it. I haven't. I'm going to wait for a pullback to that 10-day line so that we can get into it. Now, you're absolutely right on Movado. This is this is a watch company, if you could believe it. There is some competition on this one, actually, right here in Dallas. A company called Fossil. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but this Movado is a big deal, selling luxury watches. Luxury goods, it's not a bad area. It's right at the buy point, and there is retail jewelry. This is a pretty strong area in the economy right now. I think the people that are going to want to get into it are going to get into it. It's got a strong checklist, 89. The question is, can it be bought? Well, let's look. It's come through earnings. That is a good thing. And the earnings changes were just incredible. It was up almost 1,000%. So that is incredible. The reported, so it's moved into a profitable state, which is excellent. The sales were up almost 100% quarter over quarter. So that's really good. And prior to that, 100%. So this is definitely a growing company. It's not a growth company, but it's got a cash flow, which is what really what you like. And it's got pretty good at earning stability. So here's the thing. It does look like, this one is viable right now. So, I definitely like the way this is set up. So that's kind of my take on it. Oops, let's see if I can get that over there. Okay. So this is viable, and possibly, you could possibly do a half position here. It is definitely in a buy range, and it looks very strong. It's in a strong group. It's in an upward trend, and it has this little blue dot, which is really cool because that means that there is a lot of action on this right now. Definitely, nicely moved above 38.15. Definitely buyable right now. Half position. That's probably how I'd go. And then see if it confirms, and then you might make a secondary buy, and then you can really buy this up to about 40. You can really buy this one up to about 40 right there, and you're going to be looking pretty good. So very interesting, good good play. The symbol MOV, and that is Movado Group. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down on my checklist. MOV. These are the stocks that I'm covering today. MOV and ETHE. Just so I'll have a running total of everything that I'm putting out there. But it looks very, very good, Matt. Definitely think it. Yeah, you can definitely move into it. Let's look at Wish for Samuel. Thank you. Yes. I haven't been in this one. This one, oh goodness. I wish that I had better news for you, Samuel, here. Unfortunately, this is still in a downward trend. I'm going to look at the weekly chart, kind of give it, a little bit higher viewpoint. But, this thing for its whole history has just sort of gone down, down, down. We had some earnings. It has a relative strength of 1. This is just the worst. So, I hope that you don't have this one. But for what it's worth, here's my two sign. If you are down 7% on this one, sell. I mean, this is why you can't fall in love with the stock, because if you do, you think, oh gosh, it's going to come back, and it might come back. We might, things might change. It might get better, but you know what? I don't think, based on this chart, it might change a little bit. It might change a little bit on this one, but I don't think this one is, context logic or Wish is just sell it. So that's a buy, and that's extended. So that's what I would say with this one. You just got to be ruthless here. You got to be ruthless. Sell this one. It's at $5. I don't know how much money you're down on this one. Probably a lot. It might have bottomed here. You never know, but just don't spend. It did have a little bit of a bounce here. It might move up, but I wouldn't be a buyer. I wouldn't be a buyer, and if I was a, it's never good when when you're selling them at the bottom. I hope that's not the case for you, but anyways, I would sell it. It might move up, but then again, it might not. Let's look at the XLE, and of course, that's a Spyder Select Energy one. Now, Energy did have a sell-off yesterday. I got shaken out of my position in FANG, which is Diamondback. I got shaken out yesterday in my position in it. So basically, right now, the Spyder Etf is in the buy zone. So this is not a bad place to get it. We have a buy point at 56.80, 56.65, which is right here. So that's looking pretty darn good. This is a very strong sector. Now, even though it says Finance ETF up here, 109 out of 197, that doesn't make it that it's an ETF, so it's not going to show you the correct, the correct sector. But I want to show you the sector, how strong that sector is. Let's just go to the list of industry groups here, and that will give us exactly the industry group ranking. And I want to show you this is why this is important to look at. It's important to look at this ranking, because this is going to show you sort of where the money is going. Right now, the number one group for the, I guess it's the 18th week in a row, I don't know how long, is the coal group. And coal is, there's only 6 companies in here. It's really hard to invest in here. But the top 3, and this is why you ought to look to get your investments in these areas: electric, semiconductor, fabless, oil and gas, retail, believe it or not, department stores. So those are the areas that you want to look at. Right now, with the XLE is going to cover basically this group here, the E&P. This is what the group looks like. I know this is not the chart for the XLE, but I think it's quite similar. This is the group overall, and if we go over here to the XLE, you'll see that it's a similar chart. It's a similar chart. So the great thing about the XLE is it lets you buy basically the entire group, and it's a very good group to buy in right now. I do believe that we had a very nice bounce off the 21-day line. It's very buyable at this level, so you could buy this with a full position right now. I definitely think, I definitely think that you could buy this easily with a full position, with a full position right now. So for the XLE, for the XLE full position, and I definitely think you could definitely do a full position here. It's looking very good. So for the XLE, and hopefully I'll get a pen that works. That's a full position. So it's right now. It's moved into this buy range. So definitely, you could definitely buy. You could definitely buy this one up to. It's buyable. To a price, and let me just give you that price that I do think it's buyable up to. It's buyable up to a price of about $59.45. So definitely could buy it at this level. It's a good buy. It covers a great sector of the economy. So definitely XLE is definitely is definitely something that is looking very, very, very good. So definitely, Samuel, I think that you've got a winner, and you can go in with a full position. This is the reason I would potentially go in with a full position here, rather than possibly a half position, is because this is indeed this is an ETF. It covers the entire index. So there's a little bit less risk in going in with a full position when it moves past the pivot point. So I definitely like this one a lot. So there we go. All right, let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you everybody for joining on TikTok. By the way, if you want to see all of the charts, super easy to do. Just go to this to this address, bit.ly/DTF420. Or just go to the profile and click on link beacons, and you'll be able to see the live show. So that's a pretty good thing. Hi, which crypto coin is it good for now? Right now I like Ethereum a lot on the crypto. Now, part of the way, and we covered this a little bit earlier, but with Ethereum, one of the reasons I like Ethereum is because you can buy it through this thing called the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which allows you to invest in Ethereum in an IRA, and that's a really great way to do it. So that's how I would recommend. There's really only two coins that you could do this with. One, of course, is the GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's for Bitcoin, and then there's Ethereum, the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, ETHE, and these are both very, very good ways to possibly get some some crypto exposure in your IRA. So that's kind of a cool thing. I'm probably going to put out a little bit of video on it, getting crypto exposure in your IRA, because crypto is not a permitted investment in IRAs as far as I know, but the trusts are. So that's a great way to get exposure. Let's look at Ford. let's look Ford or Macy's. I do have Ford. I don't have Macy's. I'm looking at Macy's. So let's look at Macy's. I unfortunately, they're both extended, but I think right now Macy's is probably the better bet, and the reason is because it's come right above this stair-stepping buy point. There's a buy point 28.41 here. It's possible to get into. This would be a good buy because Macy's, even though it's extended here, I do think if it pulls back and touches this 10-day line, you could get in here. This is not the greatest place to get into it because it's slightly extended, but I really, really like this relative strength. I think Macy's is just hitting all of the good points here. It has a relative strength of less than 80, but other than that, it's really good because it's in such a good group. It's in the number 4 group in the market right now. So this would be the one that you would want to buy, would be Macy's. I don't think you could buy a full position if you don't already have a position, but I definitely think it is buyable. So right now, the thing with Macy's is, it's just a little bit extended. So M is extended, but you could buy it now. So what do I mean by extended, and why do I keep throwing that term out there? What does that mean, and why is that so important? Well, oops. Let's see if. Nope, that's not. Getting the wrong, the wrong things there. Come on, baby. Yeah. So this is extended, but it is still buyable. It's still buyable here, and the reason it is because it's just slightly above the 5% zone. So here's what I mean by extended. A stock doesn't go up straight. It comes in. It creates these little stepping stones. This one's a consolidation, and then the next one here is a cup with handle, and then we're here at another. At another, it's called an ascending base, and actually, because this is an ascending base, this is a special kind of base pattern. This is something where you can buy it even extended. And so here's the thing. The way you do that is you buy it as close to the 10-day line as you possibly can. Now, currently, this is extended above the 10-day line by about 3.4%. So that's definitely within the range that you can buy it. Now, what do I mean by a full position? What do I mean by half position? Well, if you have a portfolio, let's say it's worth $8,000, and you divide it up into 8 pizza slices, one pizza slice represents one full position. So you never want to go in with more than one full position at a time, and then you want to set your stop loss 7% below where you bought it. That way, even if the stock moves down, your maximum risk is going to be about 1 to 2% on the portfolio value. So this is a safety, a way to buy it safely. Macy's is definitely buyable, and I think you want to probably buy it more than than Ford right now, because even though I do have Ford and I really like Ford and I did some profit taking on Ford, I think that I want to get some exposure to this excellent group. So let's look at Ford. Macy's is definitely buyable at this time, but let's look at the Ford chart. Here's the thing with Ford, and I wouldn't buy Ford at this level. I own Ford, as you can see. I bought it right basically when it was in the buy zone. I did, and I haven't updated my chart here, but I did sell some of my position in strength. As you can see, it topped. It went over 20. That's where I sold it, and now it's come back down again. So right now, Ford is probably not in as good a position as Macy's. So so looking at both of these, Macy's is definitely buyable now, but Ford not so much. So that's my advice, or for lack thereof, is Ford. I would go with Macy's over Ford right now, just because of that. And but they're both good stocks. Macy's is in a better is a better place to buy it if you're to buy it today. So thank you for that question. How's gold looking into December? This is interesting. Thank you. As you know, I mean, I put out an alert. We're getting, and not that it's any big surprise, but we're getting massive inflation. I don't know if you know. A friend of mine just came back today from Pakistan, and he couldn't believe it. He came back here to Dallas, and it looks as if gasoline here has doubled. He couldn't believe it. All he told me, he said, "Look, I can't believe the price of gasoline, because when he left, gasoline in Dallas here was about, and I know this is hard to believe, about $1.95 a gallon. It's over $3 a gallon. This is in Dallas, and this is just in about just a little over a few months. So just amazing. So that's why we're going to have probably an event with inflation. Now, gold is potentially a good hedge. I don't think you're going to make money on this. This is the thing about this thing is this is more of a hedge and less of an actual investment. This is the Spyder Gold Shares ETF. Basically tracks the price of gold. As you can see, the last few days we've gone up, and we look like we're correcting a little bit after hours, but this is the reversal line on it. I do think we're going to make a new high on the price of gold. So this is a way you can get exposure in your portfolio. Is this the optimally best place to buy it? No. But what we do see in the gold shares is we see this rising RS line, which is very, very significant. So I do believe that by December, and I want to draw a trend line here. I don't want to draw a trend line through this. I do think that if we maintain this slope, remember that by the end of December, we could be as high as maybe 179, 180. So I definitely think by the end of the year, we're possibly looking at about 180 on the GLD. It's not, as I say, it's not a great investment. It's more of a hedge, more than anything else. So by the end of December, GLD price is going to be $80 or more. I'm pretty sure of that. I think that's a pretty that's a pretty conservative pretty conservative that's a pretty conservative prediction. But I do think we're going to see we definitely could see gold up to $80. Let's see if I can edit that properly. Up to $80 or more. This is the GLD, not the price of gold, but the ETF that tracks the price of gold. So I definitely see by the end of December, I'd see it. I'm sorry, not 80, 180. Excuse me. Jeez, I gotta get my stuff right here. Jeez. So here's what I see really on that is I definitely see it basically at 180 or better. And this is based on this trend line. I think we have bottom. I think it is reversing higher. So GLD, I do believe, is probably going to move up to about the 180 level. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for it by the end of the year. Okay, well, let's take another question. Thank you for that. Always. All right, let's see if we can get somebody a little bit down here. Let's look at NEO and PayPal. Let's first look at NEO. And the automobile group has been kind of, it's starting to flex its muscles once again. It's up a little bit. It's now the number 6 group. So you definitely want exposure to automobiles because This is where the money is moving in the market. Now it's mostly moving to Tesla and Rivian. I want to take a look very quickly at the whole group as we speak, because this is the entire group. So this is the entire group of the automobile manufacturers. Of course, Tesla's the number one, Toyota's number two, BYD number three. So I'm just trying to see where Rivian comes in here because they just IPO'd. Let's see if I can find it. I didn't do anything with Rivian. Let's see. Lucid. Okay, this is Lucid. Oh, okay, it's Lucid. Wow, it's that big. I didn't. Okay, NIO is right above Lucid in terms of the rankings. Interesting. Let's look at NIO first. Okay, it is reversing above the 200-day line. Still really too early. Would not be a buyer of NIO right now. So here's the thing about NIO. I think that it's just not time for NIO. There's probably better ones out there right now. I did have Ford, and I did quite well in that, but I did sell it into strength. So I did have Ford, and of course I have Tesla. But I think other than that, I think you got to stick away from the autos. Maybe Tata Motors, that might be good as well. But right now, I would probably not be in. I would probably not be in NIO. So I'm going to say NIO. Oh, no, at this point. All right, let's look at PayPal. PayPal is it is just continuing to make new lower lows. Just terrible time to be in it. It does look like we've got some support at the 200-day line, which is a good thing. I kind of want to look at the checklist on it. Yeah, it's a bad checklist. The area that it's in, it's 47 out of 197, so that's pretty not bad. But I think you just have to avoid PayPal for now. It's not at a place. It's just not at a place where it can be bought. So avoid PayPal for now. And I think I just think you really have to do that because it just doesn't. This is a bad chart. It needs to find its footing. It's 200 looks like this may be the base at 200. But a lot of stuff is coming out of this right now. It still has some of the great funds are in it, but the checklist is set 44. So I just think you got to avoid PayPal right now. I just think you have to avoid it. So I would avoid both PayPal and NIO. I'd avoid both of them, unfortunately. Avoid both of them. Okay. Good question, Nathan. What areas should we be looking at if inflation hurts the stock market? Well, obviously, there's the gold area, but, actually the areas that I think will continue to do the best, interestingly enough, in the stock market are not where you would normally think. So let's kind of look at the groups here. And I kind of want to see where the big improvements have been in terms of the groups. Now, of course, coal is number one, and it's been number one basically for the last 3 months. So the last 3 months, that's been number one. Now, this group has moved up significantly. It's very interesting because you wouldn't think it. Electronic semiconductor fabless, 6 months ago, that was almost at the bottom of the barrel at 182. Currently, this is the number two group. So we definitely want to be looking in semiconductor fabless. This is the part of the reason I bought. This is part of the reason that I purchased Rambus today, because it was breaking out. And I bought that. The best area, I believe, for inflation, interestingly enough, is the oil and gas group, but not the integrated oil and gas group, the U.S. producers group. This is the one that I think you've got to get a piece of. So here's how I recommend it. It's tough to get the leader in here. So I think we got to get smart. And one of the ways that we can do this is with the Spyder Select ETF XLE. The XLE covers this area. You don't have to pick a stock, which is great. You don't have to pick a stock. Another area where the money is flowing right now with inflation is retail department stores. And right now, Macy's is viable in that area. So that's another area that we can look at. Automobile manufacturers are doing well, but not all of them. I went back into Tesla. Of course, you know that I've been talking about Tesla really since it made its big move up from about 800. I've been on Tesla. This is an area that is done very well. But in terms of inflation, consumer loans are going to do very well under the inflationary period. This is an area I think we can look for potential targets because unfortunately, when the inflation goes up, people are going to go onto those credit cards hard, and it's going to kind of stink for a lot of people. But there's some good ones in there that you might be able to get a piece of. One of them, of course, is this one that I really like. It's called Santander Commercial, and it's basically a auto finance company, if you can believe that. It's right below a buy point. It's actually based here in Dallas, interestingly enough. It's got this one is probably going to break out, but this is one you might want to look at as well, Santander Commercial. But the areas of the market really, and I'm glad that you're bringing this up, the areas of the market that are probably going to do the best are going to be in the oils area. So that the XLE is a great way to get exposure to that. Another area, of course, is the area of retail department stores, which you wouldn't think would be, but Macy's is also a buy in that particular area. Now, I don't have anything right now in Macy's, but I'm looking to possibly get in. And of course, now let's take a look at Facebook. Of course, everybody knows they're changing their symbol to Meta. That hasn't happened yet. So right now it's going to be called Meta, but it is still trading under Facebook. So Meta Platforms is the name of the company now, but it's trading under FB as the symbol. Let's look at the daily chart. I do think, there is some resistance. It pulled back down here to the 200-day moving average. It looks like it got some support there, which is interesting. It's up a little bit after hours. This might be a good place to buy it, actually, believe it or not, because it looks as if it's reversing. And I want to put the reversal line. That would be approximately the reversal line for this. I'm going to actually set an alert. So basically, this is the reversal line. It came through the reversal line. It came up to the 40-day moving average, and then it went back down. So really, I don't think right now it's necessarily the greatest place to buy it. I'd like to see it move about to here. So I'm going to set an alert right at about the 325 level. And that's kind of where I think that possibly you could get back in it. And it is above that. It's at 328, and it looks like it's gotten some support at the 200-day line. So I don't want to fall below that. If it basically, you want to wait for the pullback, and if it doesn't fall below 325, that's where potentially a good entry point is for this. The checklist is excellent. It's 89. Of course, it's owned by everybody, and it's very, very profitable. So this is not necessarily a bad place to be in Facebook. But I want to see it bounce convincingly off the 200-day line. I don't like to buy anything at or below the 200-day line. It's just too dangerous. So I want to see this thing move higher. If it does show strength, I would do it. So, but here's the thing. Here's kind of my 2 cents on this. I think you've got to watch list this one, not buy it right now. I would watch list Facebook for now. If it closes above about 325, that's where you might aggressively get in. That's where you could possibly aggressively get in to it. Currently, it's at 328, so this is about as aggressive as a buy point as you want to go. You don't want to buy it below that 200-day line, but it does look like it's getting some support at that 200-day line. So if it can hold this line, that's not a bad place to buy it. That's not a bad place to buy it. We're in a consolidation, and I think you could hold it really up until you got up here to about to about the 364 level. So I think this has about 50 points to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just put that in here. So basically, I think that, you know, this is an area that you definitely can buy it in here. And of course, if it goes above the buy point, then you want to buy more. But it does look like it's tested. It's come up, come back down, tested the 200-day moving average, and it looks like it's on its way up again. So this is not necessarily a bad entry point. I wouldn't enter it unless I got some more strength and move a little bit higher. The minimum place I think that you could buy it would be at 325. I'd really like 330, 335. That'd probably be a better entry on that. So, but thanks for that. It's very interesting. BGFV, do research, do not buy. Okay. Buy November spreads, your surpluses will call away. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Thank you for that, Mark. Very, very interesting. Let's see. Okay. Buy or sell ONPH. Okay, let's look at ONPH. Take a look at that. I'm not seeing anything there. Okay, Rivian. Could you give me a symbol on that one? Let's see. Let's see if let's see and so so I don't have a symbol right now for Rivian. I don't think it's I don't think I have a symbol for Rivian. So I'm gonna put it out there on the chat. See if anyone can tell me that. All right, question. Do you have thoughts on PUBM? Oh yeah, okay. I was looking at this one this morning. This is interesting. PUBM. That's Pubmatic. Interesting enough. Definitely nice movement up. Boy, I tell you, look at that. Look at that. This one the other. Let's go to the weekly chart because this definitely is a reversal on Pubmatic. We were just, this is the chart. We definitely had this tremendous reversal. Looks like if it can hold this, if it could hold 40, that's really interesting. Pubmatic, very interesting. Pubmatic. I've heard about this company. I don't know a whole lot about it. I was looking at actually this stock this morning. It looks like it's reversed. So and if it can hold it, that's the thing. It's possibly a hold if it can hold the $40 level. So that's kind of my that's kind of my take on it. It's a possible buy if it can hold above $40 per share. So that's really key. I mean, if it can hold above $40 per share, then then it's definitely a buy. But I think I probably missed the boat on that one. It doesn't look bad, but again, it's not a classic setup. It's not really a classic setup. Interesting. Yeah, that's good. Good question. Yeah, IBD hyped SPWR today. Thoughts? Let's look at SPWR. Yeah, can't always trust IBD because they definitely have some dogs in the fight. So you got to check them. SunPower, I don't know. Here's my take on that, Dinesh. Very good point here. I know who the guy is that likes this. It's I think it's David Sato Chung probably was the one that probably said this. He very much likes the solar power area. The biggest problem that I have with solar power is that most of the time it doesn't really make money. It depends almost totally input from the government, basically government subsidy. So I'm a little leery about it in general. I mean, I think it's just a fact that now out of the solar power companies, I thought Tesla was going to do the best. It's having trouble in this area. So this is kind of a tough area. It's pulled above the 200-day moving average. I just don't see it here. There's no real pattern here. There's no base pattern. So I'm not that excited about it. So I'm not really. Unfortunately, I'm just not really very excited about Sun Power. I guess it's good, but not excited about Sun Power. SPWR. I think a lot of people want these. I think a lot of people want in their soul. They want the solar stocks to be good, but I'm just not excited about them. I just can't. I can't really see that. I can't really see it. The chart isn't all that good. They did have some nice earnings, but I still think that oil's king, and you definitely want exposure to the oil companies right now because of all this inflation. I mean, oil is an excellent inflation play. Oil is probably going to go up even more. I mean, as hard as that is to believe. So that's where I want to be with my dollars. Probably not in solar. Probably in the oils. Let's look at Disney. Of course, Disney had a really bad earnings report, and they gapped down. This is very unusual for a company like Disney because of course Disney. Everybody knows Disney, but this is not the kind of action that you want to see on a very highly liquid stock like this. This is a Dow stock. This isn't this is no penny stock here. This is a tremendous pullback. It does look like there was some support at 160, but boy, this is a downward trend. Look at this. This is a downward trend. This is what the charts have been telling us, unfortunately, for a while. Is that I drew the reversal line here. Look at how it got up to the reversal line and then it was rejected. So it just right now is not a good time for Disney. I wouldn't enter the position here. So I would not enter Disney. I wait for it to bottom, wait for it to reverse, then maybe get into it. But now, no, it's too early. Right now, don't catch a falling knife. And this is super important. You just right now the trend for Disney is downward, and it didn't just go lower. It gapped down. It blew through the 21-day average, the 10-day average, and it basically stopped. I mean, the brakes stopped at 160, but this is not the kind of trend that you want to see. This is not a good trend. So I definitely think that we're going to have to see it bottom and then move above about 180, above this trend line, before you buy it. So it's not a buy right now. It just really isn't. Please be careful. Even though everybody's heard of the company, it could easily go down to the 117 level, very, very, very easily, because of just because of the way the charts look. It's a great company, but its theme parks are losing. They're not losing money, but it's a problem. So be very careful with Disney. It dragged the whole Dow down, and I don't think it's just not the part of the market where you want to be. Now, ADM, Arthur Daniels Midland, another story altogether here. I want to say that Arthur Daniels Midland, of course, processes oil seeds, and this company will do extremely well when it comes to when it comes to inflation. they're going to make a lot of money in inflation. Right now, the food and grain and related area of the market, it's very low. It's 151 out of 197. This is an area, though, I do think that we're going to see a lot of inflation, and they're going to make money on inflation. Arthur Daniels Midland. This is a very good call, by the way. This is a cup with handle, and with a 90 with the 8678 buy points. I mean 60, excuse me, 6878 buy point. So there is a buy point right here. It's right below that. It's with a cup. This is not a bad place to start moving into the issue. The relative strength is up. It's still not as strong as I'd like to see it at 66. I'd like to see it at 80. But other than that, the checklist is fairly good, 67%, which is obviously this is a leader in the industry sector. Now, here is a problem with this. It is low. It's 151 out of 197. So the ranking is not good. I want to take a look at that. I want to take a look at that group because I want to see if it's improving or not. Just to kind of see if the capital, and this is the key here, is the capital moving to that area? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sort this by not by the highest to the lowest, but the lowest to the highest. So basically we're looking for the industry group that we're looking for here is 121. That's the oil group. So let's go down here, see if we can find that. There we go. Okay, there it is. Oh, that's transportation rail. Excuse me. Money center banks. Huh. Okay. Let me just take a look at that again. Let me look at where ADM is on there, and it's gonna tell us hopefully. So, ADM, Arthur Daniels Midland, is in the food and related grain. So it's 151. Excuse me. It's 151. That's the one I want. It's actually worse than I thought it was. I think it was 121. No, it's not. It is 151. So let's go all the way down here to 151. See if that will let us show it. There we go. Okay, this is the entire group. My lights just went out here. This is the entire group, and it's looking pretty. It's looking like it's starting to make a move, which is good. But I want to look at all the stocks that are in that area. Okay, Arthur Daniels Midland is by far the number one stock in the group, so that's a good thing. Interesting, like Tata. That's very Tate and Lyle. That's interesting. So this is potentially a buyable, but it is not. This is a potentially strong stock. So what I want to look at it is ADM, and then buyable. So we're right below this buy point. There is a cup with handle, stage 2, 66.78 buy point on this one, and I do believe that you could start moving into this one. I'm sorry. I've yammered on here for Arthur Daniels Midland. Let's go to AMD, which I know that is in a good area. I'm sorry, for some reason I was dyslexic there. AMD, but Arthur Daniels Midland, I think you want to take a look at that one as well, because it's going to do very well from the inflation standpoint. That's one that's going to do very well. Here's the thing with the AMD. AMD is extended, so right now it's just not a great place to get into AMD. We need it to pull back. Probably, this is going to have to pull back. Maybe it will pull back down below 130. So right now, with AMD, we're just not in a place where we can buy it. So, and I did sell my AMD. So AMD currently is extended. Don't buy at this level. Really, that's key here. We don't want to buy this at its current level because it's just. Oops! Don't catch a falling nose. It's actually no. That's not the case. Oh, well, I'm not getting the right ones, anyways. So it didn't take. Yeah, there we go. So there we can show it. So basically, here's what I'm trying to say with AMD. AMD has extended the proper buy point on a double bottom is Sage 2 is 114. We're currently at 146, so we're way extended above the proper buy point. So it's very extended. So really, you can't buy it right now. You just have to wait until there's another opportunity. That's the way this works. You kind of get opportunities and you come into them. Well, I didn't get to everybody's question today, so let me take one last one. Oh, thank you very much, Mark, for giving me the Rivian symbol. Let's take a look at that one. That's probably the last one today. RUVN. Let's look at it. RUVN. I'm interested in this one too. I don't own it. Let's see. RUVN. So I guess it hasn't IPO'd yet. RUVN. No, it's not recognized. So it's not up yet. I don't have charts for it, unfortunately, yet. So maybe I will have charts when it IPOs. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks again for everybody. If you want to get on the free action trailer, it's very, very easy to do. All you have to do is go over here to www.dallastradingfloor.com. And we have the action trade alerts, and we also have a Discord room, which is great, where I'm trying to be in there as much as I can and analyze all the trades as they come. We have some very good traders in there. It's definitely something to look into as well. Also, if you're looking on YouTube, really would appreciate, very, 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 very much appreciate you liking this, because by liking this, it gets out to lots of other people. That's really, really important. So please like the show if you're watching it on. Just do that in the bigger. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like it. And until tomorrow, happy trading. Thanks everybody, and I hope your week is going well. Happy trading.